Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are running into our favorite video once again of each and every weekday, the player props video, looking to stay hot after a 4-0 start to the week, 7-1 dating back to last Friday. So we are back on our bullshit, looking to get right with you guys here tonight. Nate does have his great article up on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Got a couple other game videos up for you tonight on this little 4-game slate. And make sure you are on thelines.com, checking out that odds checker player props tool that we have available, as well as play.thelines.com, which is a site that we now have available for you to win a $25 Amazon gift card. Head to that site and check out the NBA Daily Picks Challenge and get all of those right for the chance to win that gift card. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's player props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm leading off with Kyrie Irving, who came up short of his props last time he played, which was last Thursday, because the Nets were just so good and highly motivated in a game against the Sixers that he did not get to play in the fourth quarter. But now, on extra rest after Durant played 43 minutes, 47% usage rate and scored 53 points on Sunday. You imagine it's going to be similar to how that Charlotte game went last week, where Durant just chilled, scored 14 points, and watched Kyrie drop 50 on an overmatched team. Now they face Orlando, which has been feisty enough to make me think this game will be reasonably close. I'm not going to take the Nets to win by 10, as the spread has indicated. Magic 7-2 against the spread with the best defensive rating since the All-Star break, but still allowing 25.7 points, 9.5 assists, and 3.7 threes to point guards during that span. I certainly think Kyrie, who's averaging 29 points per game in his last 8, can get over 24.5 points. It might be 25.5, depending where you get it, at better odds there. In his last 7 against Orlando, he's dropped 30 points on 56% field goal shooting. And including his last meeting when he was with the Nets, it was not a competitive game. He had 30 points in just 25 minutes. So we can expect him to fill it up quickly. I mean, even if this is a blowout and he doesn't play in the fourth quarter again, it might be because Kyrie dropped 25 plus in the short span. And for him to get 25 in a win, plus 126 at FanDuel, also intriguing for him to get 4 threes in a win at plus 225. He's hit 14 trays in his last 2 games at a much better than 50% clip. So certainly he's capable of burning Orlando from deep.
Yeah. A counterpoint, KD knows that we're all going to be betting on Kyrie tonight because of the same bullshit he pulled last time, and then just sabotage us by scoring a ton of points this time. Don't think that's the case. I do agree with you entirely that the main logic here, aside from Kyrie is a top 3 point guard in the league and is unstoppable on offense regardless of who's guarding him. That's point one. Point two is this is an away game after you mentioned KD playing a ridiculous amount, shooting the ball 50% of the time that they're on offense. So I think it's back to the Kyrie game tonight. And I'd still think if this game's a blowout by the time the fourth quarter hits, it's because Kyrie has 25. I would just say go ahead and take that 25 plus in a victory. If you're going to take anything, 25 points at his prop, minus 115 versus plus 126 if you get the 25 and a W, just seems to make perfect sense to me. This should be a win for the Nets easy tonight. So Book, back to him and the stuff he's been on lately. I think with Book right now, we've got to talk about the assists because Chris Paul is out. So we look at his points and assists combined on FanDuel, minus 104 for him to get over 34.5 points and assists. His assist prop is at 6.5 at plus 104 as well. I like both of those because once again, I like the assists. They just go straight up. He gets 8 assists a game at least when CP3 is out. So far in the last 2 seasons, rather in the 10 games that he's played without him, we're talking 27 points and 8.5 assists a game in that time frame. Very efficient player because he's more the point guard now, and he's getting his shots when he wants them but he's also finding other guys, and that's really moving the ball really well. 50% from the field, 41% from three in those games without CP3. In his last 5 games, which we know CP3 has not played in, he's had 7 assists in all of those, averaging about 8.5 in that time frame. So they're playing Nola, who plays no defense. Whether CJ McCollum plays tonight or not, there still won't be much defense on the floor for Nola, who within their last 2 have been playing at a pace of about 102 without CJ or BI. As we know, BI won't be in there tonight. And Book loves playing against Nola. In his last 2 versus them, we're talking 31.5 points per game on 46%. I don't mind that 34.5 points and assists because I do like him to get 30 anyway. So I think that's going to get you over what you need for the points and assists. And his last 11 on the road where they are playing tonight, 31.5 points per game, shooting better than 51%. So Book's on one. I don't even mind his prop tonight at 28 points or so if you like it. But I think the points and assists is the way to go. Get a little bit better juice at minus 104 on FanDuel is really good. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit just on him to get 7 assists and get another plus 104 back on my money.
Yeah, the extra defensive attention he's gotten has led this prop to get lower. And while New Orleans has a good defensive option in terms of Herb Jones to throw at him, their team defense is just not good at all right now. So I think adding the assists there is a good way to go. You get better juice if you take just the assists, because whether he's scoring or not, Book's going to be doing all the playmaking for the Suns with Chris Paul out. So love the assists and the combination there. Another guy who's going to be doing a lot of the playmaking tonight, I would assume, is Tyler Herro. Jimmy Butler, I've thought about taking. He's always a guy that can tend to take a back seat when the Heat are comfortably favored, as they are by 12.5 tonight against Detroit. Herro has done his work at home, though. 24 points per game in his last 7 home games. His splits on the season are very impressive, 46-44, 88% at home. And he's averaging in his last 10 overall, 25 points, 4.5 rebounds, with a nearly 30% usage rate. Dropped 30 points per game in 2 meetings with Detroit this season. Also had 6.5 rebounds there. I keep bringing that up because he's getting plus money for 4.5 boards. And his points at 21.5, I feel like you can add the 5 rebounds there, 26.5, get better odds if you feel like it. Because certainly I think he could score about 30 again. Like I said, 30 points against Detroit, 30 plus both times out. And one of those games, Jimmy and Bam were both playing for, and Herro still had a 36% usage rate off the bench. Bam and Jimmy are stars, but they're not stars that are going to hold the ball in any means. I mean, they're going to set up this young gun who can definitely take it to a Detroit team that's also full of young guys, that has a 120 defensive rating in their last 12 road games, and allows the 3rd most points per game to shooting guards over the last 30 games, about 25 a game. Herro, you could take those obviously we expect a win here, and there is some juice here for 5 assists in a win at plus 22.35, 30 plus in a win at plus 450. It's a long shot, but that's why you get such good juice on it. So just something to consider there if you are going to bet the points prop.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I love, getting Tyler Herro playing against that second team as well against Detroit, which, their first team is bad enough. Their second team is even worse. So, yeah, I would feel good about that tonight. And Detroit's been so bad on defense as of late on the road and the whole season on the road that I'm going to segue into taking another Heat player tonight. We've only got a 4-game slate, so there's not exactly a ton to choose from. I'll go ahead and just attack the team that's been playing the worst on D and look at Bam as well tonight at, either way you look at this, 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists is minus 110 at FanDuel, or at DraftKings rather. 21.5 points and assists is minus 110 as well. Both of those feel right around what he's going to get. I think he's getting 20 points tonight. I mean, he's averaging in his last 10, 20.5, 10.5, and 3.5 boards. So we're talking about 34-ish or so points, rebounds, and assists combined in 32.5 minutes in that time. The 3.5 assists and 18 points or so, if you like that points and assists, I like that maybe a little bit more because I do think he's likely to get 20, and there's no way he's getting under 3 assists. He's been essentially playing point center a lot this season as of late as well. So I think that the assists are nice. Either one is fine because I do think this is a 20 and 10 night for Bam. So if you like him at a 20 and 10 points and rebounds night, you don't mind the 3 assists that you need from him there, like I said. But I think that's the same case in the points and assists. Either way, both getting good value back on your money there. In his last 3 versus Detroit, dating back to last season. Bam's looking at about 24 points a game, 9 boards and 5 assists, nicely getting you over that there. 64% from the field with that 28% usage rate and 132 offensive rating. We're just talking about how these Heat players are just destroying Detroit, who, as you mentioned, a bunch of their stats on their last 12 on the road. And that's pretty consistent, actually a little bit worse even than their stats on the season on the road, as they're allowing 115 points per game on the road, 8th worst, 46 points per game to their opponent, rebounds per game, 7th worst, assists, 9th worst, allowing 26. So they're just giving up stats all over the floor on the road. That defensive rating, as you mentioned, their last 12 up to 120. So I think it's a good time to take a couple Heat players, and Bam and Herro are the ones I like tonight for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, who is Detroit even starting at center right now? It's Marvin Bagley, apparently, who's the natural power forward. I mean, he's about 6'10", but not a good reputation as a defensive power forward. No. First of all, his defensive rating is 114.5 this season. Trying much harder now that he's got a fresh start in Detroit, but Bam, he's been ripping through whoever Detroit threw at him, which is mostly Mason Plumlee last year, I would think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And scoring at, with a 132 offensive rating in those last 3 meetings, I think he'll have no problem eating against Bagley.
Yeah, I concur entirely. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Check out those other couple of game videos we have for you tonight. And until we see you next, happy betting.